All right. Hello, chat. Um, I wanted to make this a video, but I decided it'd be easier if I just streamed it. But I am gonna go over the stuff I know about Roblox City when it comes to modeling because I feel like that's very helpful. You can also ask questions in chat if you have any. Um, but we're gonna go over the basics. So basically, let's go over all the stuff here in the model tab. You will have select, move, scale, rotate, transform, collision, join surface. You've got your rotations, you got your studs, you got snap to parts, you got move, you got rotate on there. I don't know what this does, but I don't think it's very important anyways. I don't really use this. This is a part, this is colors, this is materials, but I just make it material manager because that's just easier. This is the lock tool, this is the group tool, this is the anchor tool. This is the union tool, this is intersection, this is negative, and this is separate. I don't know what this stuff does. This is effect, this is how you spawn a spawn point. This is effects, which has a bunch of effects. I'll show in a second. You can insert objects, you can insert models, you can do this stuff, which I don't really mess with. You can run scripts, you can make scripts, different scripts, which we will not go over, because that's not very important. But anyways, when you look at these, it's just the basic modeling stuff. I'm gonna go over unions, negative parts, intersections, and this button. So basically, this is one part. This is another part. We're gonna make it a different color. When we make it a union, it scales at the same. It's with an intersection. You can also do this with unions, but I typically do with intersections, so you can tell the difference between a union and what's a union and what's an intersection. Just so if you want to separate things, you don't separate the wrong thing if you're just going through the Explorer, which is this bit, which you don't really use as much, but you might want to use it if you're looking for a specific part. But I typically separate unions and intersections. But we're going to take this part here and say we want to make a hole in it. So we're going to take this part and we're going to scale it. Make sure it goes fully through the part, because if it doesn't, I'll give you an example. I'll copy it. I'll go over keybinds in a second. And we're just gonna, oops, do that, do that. All right, so what you do is you make this a negative part, then you select these parts and you go intersection. And that makes an intersection, and you use the separate to separate the two parts. But you use intersection, or you can use union, but I typically use intersection. And when you playtest, make sure you anchor your models, by the way, because if you don't anchor it, which will be shown here, let me just show you what will happen. This is an anchored part. You can't move it at all. These are unanchored parts. You can move them around, and if they're floating, they will fall, which you do not want. You do not want that. But this is an anchored part. Make sure you anchor your parts. But this is an intersection. If you don't make it go fully through, and you turn this part into a negative part, and you intersect, Oh, that doesn't show a good example. But you want to make sure it goes through it because it can cause certain issues like this, where it goes through part of the part, but it does not go through the entire part. Make sure it is fully and 100% through your part. And yet again, use the anchor tool. The group tool. If you want to group two items, but you don't want them to be affected by unions, which you can only have things different colors, but you cannot have them different textures, which I will show you in a second. You have a brick. If you make it a union, it will make that texture go throughout all of it, which you do not want when you want them to be separate textures. So what do? You group it. This also makes it easier to move things around, which is very important. The lock tool, if you click on a object, when you go to select it, it will not allow you to, which is good when certain things, like sometimes you can select the base plate and you don't want that, so I typically just lock it, though I think they fixed that. But if you go and grab the lock tool again and unlock it, you can move it around again. Let's go on to keybinds and all that kind of stuff. If you select a part that is grouped or is a union or an intersection, we've got with the group stuff, you can ungroup it, and now they're separate parts. With intersections and unions, you can use the separate and just separate it instead of having to go all the way up here. Now let's go on to effects. These are just the different effects. You've got light effects, you've got particle emitter, you got all this stuff. That's explosion. This is fire. This is sparkles. This is beam, which isn't enough particle effect, but whatever. I've never used beams before, but I got smoke as well. Just the basic effect parts. I'm just gonna delete that before that lags the hell out of everything. And then we go into the light effects. Oh, I didn't go over trail. What does trail do? I haven't used trail before. I think if you move it, it has a trail or something. No, I don't know what it does. But anyways, we've got lighting. You've got point light, which you can see where it goes. But this is like just a light that you want to be everywhere. Spotlight, as you can see, is just this. And if you go into, hold on, I'm gonna delete the point light. If you go into spotlight, you can go to angle. You can change. No, that angle. This is range. So you can change that. You can use the scroll wheel on your mouse. But you got angle too, which changes this. And you got face. This is front. This is bottom. This is left, etc. And then we're gonna get rid of the spotlight. Also, you can left click delete things, by the way, and duplicate. But typically we don't left click duplicate because there's faster ways to do that. And then you've got surface light, which is kind of just the same as spotlight. Pretty much. You're gonna use it kind of for the same thing you would use a spotlight. It's just square shaped. Alright, let's go on to keybinds. What are the keybinds? I have a list here, but Control C, Control V. Control C copies, Control V pastes. And we'll keep it on your clipboard until you copy a new object. Or you close Roblox Studio and reopen it. You can also use Control X to delete, Control Z to undo, and Control Y to redo. Another thing you can do when you're scaling an object, you can only scale it to the studs that you have set. But if you hold down Shift, you can scale it to whatever you want. You can move it to wherever you want. But when you don't do that, it just moves via the studs you picked unless you change move. Then it will move wherever, but it's just easier to use Shift. These are your studs. You can lower it down. It disables move if you spam this. But you can also type in your own stud amount. So say you want 0.1. So this is 0.1. Or you want something like 30. Oh, since it's at 1, it probably won't work. Hold on. It might not allow you to do certain sizing. I don't. But you can change the amount of studs it moves. So I'm going to make a 30 by 30 by 30 thing. Change this to 30. I think it'll let me move it now. Nope. Oh, it does. But it will go by 30s. But yeah, those are the basic, most helpful ones. For me, you can change your rotation, you can use this thing, or you just can type in 5 or something, and then you rotate it. I typically stick with 90 because I can just do this, rotate, and it goes wherever I want, or I hold down Shift. Because that works with rotate too. Change this back to one stud. This is join surface, which just makes it easier to tell when your surfaces are joined. But if you don't want that, you can just have snap the parts, and it will snap if you use the move tool. You'll see this little part, and then you can go past if you want to, but if you use join surfaces, it will show you better of where it's snapping to. If you need that, you can enable that. Let's go into part properties and all that kind of stuff. So you have a really big part. And it's casting a really big shadow, and you don't like the shadow, or you don't want the shadow, and it looks gross to you, or you don't need it, or it's like a window. You can go into the parts, which you select it. It shows up in Explorer, and it shows up in Properties, which should be open by default. I don't know, but if it's not, you can go through all of these and have what you want. You can activity, history, there's a bunch of stuff. I typically use team create, command bar, toolbox, properties, explorer. I have the terrain editor here, and all that kind of stuff. But that's how you disable the cast shadows. If you want to make a custom color, you can don't go to the brick color, go to the color. And you can make it a lighter color, you can make it a darker color. If you can't find it in there, you can just change it. But you also can press cancel. This is reflectiveness. Hold on. And if you slide this, it will become more reflective. If you slide it all the way down, it will not be reflective. This is transparency. Same thing. 0 transparency. This is max transparency. 0 transparency. Max transparency. 0 transparency. And you can change it to whatever you want. You can name the part, but you can also do that if you left click here and press rename. You can also cut, copy, paste into, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. You can group as model, which you can also do with 2 parts. but there are certain things that you can't find in this, such as if you wanted to rename something, you can't do it via just left clicking on it. You have to left click in the Explorer. But you can do a bunch of stuff that you can also do with normal left click. I typically only use rename, so we're gonna name it like something. You can just rename it. Or you can go in these properties if you want to and change its name. You can change its size. So say one thing was off and you couldn't figure out how to align it properly or size it properly. You can change it like that. You can change its position. So say you want it at the spawn. You can just put 0 and it's at 0, 0. Or you have a specific position. Say this part, you want to bring this part over to it. You can go into the position of this part, copy it, and paste it into here via going to the position and changing that. And you can also do that with orientation, I'm pretty sure. You can change this stuff, whatever. You can put can collide, and can collide, basically when you playtest, if a object can oh, hold on, I didn't anchor that. Guys, reminder, you got to anchor your stuff. This part's not anchored for some reason. There we go. Boom. But have all your parts anchored and all that. Playtest. And this is a non-collidable object, which basically just means you can go inside of it. Or you can just go past it. Which, if you're a lazy little shithead, you can just make doors that you can walk through if collision's disabled. Negative parts also automatically you cannot collide with them. But you can't change their color. Another thing, when you are using unions and intersections, you have to texture everything and color everything the same. It has to be the same color, it has to be the same texture, or it will not turn out the way you want. And you cannot, once it's a intersection and you use intersect, you cannot change the color of this. But when it's not intersected, you can change the color of it. But if you intersect it, the inside's going to be a different color. If you want that, that's good. If you don't want that, make it everything the same color. Make it all the same color. I don't know if you can change the color of negative parts. Nope, you can't. So just make it its color. Boom. Then you make it an intersection, all that stuff. There we go. Hello. So yeah, that's just the basics of what I use when I model stuff. The group tool, when you left click, is very helpful. It's nice to have things like that, just to know how to move stuff around. If anyone here has questions, I will answer questions about how Roblox Studio works. If you just got here, I will take questions. But that's kind of just like the basics of Roblox Studio. Rephrase that, please? What? What are you, red hair? What? What? Huh? What do you mean? What? What? Can you like explain that in a different way, please? I don't know what you mean. What do you mean? What are you red hair mean? Is this a child? Oh, it's cause my Sona has horns? My horns? My horns? Is that what you're talking about? You're talking about my guy having horns? My horns? Is that what you're asking about? I just like making OCs or not. They're a Sona. They just have horns because why not? And also because they're kind of fighting. So they're like kind of just simple demon horns. Do you know what fighting is? What? Me already because Five Nights at what? But me live stream so like a what? If you are a child, leave. If you are a child under the age of 13, leave right now. Because your grammar is very confusing, and if you are a young child, you need to leave. Because young itty bitty children are not allowed on my channel. Okay? If you are an itty bitty child, are you an itty bitty child? Are you under the age of 13? Because if you are, please leave. Please. I think there's a child in my chat. Also, it's dark art. Guys, it's dark art. I was just trying to make a stream so people know how Roblox Studio works. Next thing I know it, I'm just, I'm just going to sleep, okay? Oh, uh, okay. Do I have a mod in here? Do I have a mod in here? I don't think I have a mod in here. So I have to manually go to my stream. Give me a sec. The child is gone. The child is gone. But anyways, back to what I was saying earlier. If you have any, if you go back in like the beginning of the stream, if you want to like actually know how Roblox Studio works, and if you have any questions, ask me them. I'll answer questions there. But I think I covered pretty much everything that I know of that is helpful. I will figure out what beams do. I think they're probably some particle effect thing. I don't use particle effects very often. Other than like fire. That's it. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about how to change the color of fire. So I'm pretty sure you can change the colors on there. Yeah, you can. Where's the color? Is this the color bit? Yep. This is like the smoke bit. We'll make it green. So it's dark green like dark art. Where's the other bit of the color? I think there's other. I think you can. Is it? I don't know what it is. Oh, also this, you can change the size of it. So if you put like 50, if you put like 50 in here, oh, you can only put it at 25. Wait, no, that doesn't change the scale of it, does it? What's the scale? Oh yeah, this. Time scale, that slows it down. My friend is here. Hi. Where the hell? I don't remember how I don't remember how I changed the color of the fire. Yeah, stream lags a lot, sorry. Wait, how do you change the color of fire again? I forgot to do how to do this. I don't know where's the primary bit? There's supposed to be a primary. I know you can change the color of it. That's weird. But yeah, I changed. But you can change the sparkles. Let's make them we'll make them yellow, cause I like the color yellow. Yellow particles. I actually got a part. You can change the color of smoke, I'm pretty sure, too. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't think you can. I swear there was a way you could change, like, a color. But apparently not. Do not know why. I'll figure that out why it's not working later. Um, I think I went over pretty much everything that I needed to, so I'll probably end the stream. Apologies for stream lag. My computer is a little old. It's not that old, but like I've had it for a bit. So that's probably also why. And also cuz Streamlabs sucks a lot. Um but I think I'm probably going to end stream. I'm just going to wait here a little bit just in case some people have some questions. Video and how it works. And all that. Also, apologies if I sound very fugly. I'm sick. Alright, goodbye, chat. I'll stream next week. Almost for sure. I don't know. But I'm sick because I think I have a cold. I think that's all it is. But I'm sick because school sucks. And everyone got sick at my school, and now I have to deal with being sick. But anyway, bye chat. I will stream hopefully next week on either Friday or Saturday. Maybe.